Okay, so we'll look at Quantum Break at 21 by 9. So the highly anticipated release of Microsoft's latest foray into PC gaming has been released in the form of Quantum Break, and I was genuinely very excited about its release. The gameplay seemed right up my alley, with the developers relating it to titles like Max Payne 3 and Alan Wake, the former being a favourite of mine for its pure perfection in what it does. Fine, it might not be the best game ever, but in what it is, every single aspect of Max Payne is perfect, from the animations to the storytelling to the atmosphere, and really what I wanted from Quantum Break was Max Payne, but with this physics time-controlling twist. What I got instead, well, I'm not sure, because the technical side of this game has completely stopped my ability to enjoy or want to continue playing the game. So before I continue, it should be very clear to you now that the game is locked at 16 by 9, and there is no way to remove this as it's a Windows Store game, which means zero modding is possible. Now I also need to point out the obvious point that the game is in windowed mode for this recording, because it refuses to record when the game is full screen. Well, I say full screen, in fact the game lies, as it's really just borderless windowed mode. But when you put it in this mode, Game Shadow cannot record it. I thought Bethesda was the only company who could manage such unparalleled failures in such basic aspects of PC gaming, but clearly Microsoft wants the crown to itself, because I then attempted to use the program Windowed Borderless Gaming to allow me to record it with essentially full screen, but it's really technically windowed, but the game refused to work with it. Again, a first for me. So I had nearly lost all hope, but then remembered there is Xbox for Windows 10, which has a DVR mode. So I went to try that out, and of course, every time I tried to record using it, it caused Nvidia's drivers to crash. So here we are, recording in lovely windowed mode. Feeling positive about the game so far? Okay, so before we get stuck on a hate train for this game, as I just really don't like just hating on a game and listing the bad points, it's not fun. I always try my very utmost in everything I play to find the good in it, something I really find to be a trait a lot of vocal gamers have, which is sad as it's supposed to be a fun thing to do. So let's go over the positives of the game first, what I liked in the short time that I played. Short because I couldn't continue for a few reasons. Now, I really liked the graphics. The world does feel filled out and fun to walk around and explore. Yes, they are rather small levels, but it tries to take a very linear game style and just stretch it in ways to make it feel less linear, with things to read and find and explore in the small environment. Nothing big, but it's a nice touch. On the graphics, they are beautiful, however the game really suffers from a blurry feel to everything. Even at 1440p, I just felt I wasn't getting the clarity to the image I would expect from any other title, and this was with textures on ultra and anti-aliasing off. So I don't know if it's something that could be rectified, or if it's something we just have to live with, but it's a shame because the graphics are damn lovely. And on this point, the animations to the characters are very beautiful, very fluid and lifelike. Clearly the motion capture of the actors was done very well, and it helps sell you on the believability of this world. I must also commend the graphics engine in terms of its responsiveness. When changing settings, it instantly feeds back to you. No need to restart the game at any point. Something I should be more thankful for, as it's horrendous restarting a game just to change graphics settings for anything. So good job there. Other settings I must commend include the ability to turn off copyrighted music for those like myself who want to record gameplay. It's a nice, unexpected touch. Now, I was very interested to see how the live-action TV show scenes would play into the game, and I must say I actually really liked it. It's a cool twist. I'm totally down for more games to use it. Undeniably, the difficulty is definitely managing not to annoy people by forcing them to watch when they want to play, but it worked for me. However, that said, I've only played enough to watch the first cutscene and then play some more before and after it, so it could be that later on the TV show stuff cuts in at worse moments, but it's looking promising currently. Now, do be aware that it's not a Daredevil, House of Cards, Better Call Saul quality TV show, but it's very entertaining and I enjoyed it. Again, it proves the point that the medium works within gaming, at least in my opinion so far. Lastly, I really love the gameplay. Yes, undeniably it's limited and I'll get onto my many issues with parts of it in a second, but the basics are great. The guns feel very hard hitting, they feel like they're doing damage, and overall it's a very satisfying shooter. The extra time-bending gameplay elements are also great additions, however could have been improved, but generally I was pleased with it. I also really like the story options, the ability to have the story change direction depending on your choices, and them showing you before you choose what the effects are going to be. Now, I don't know how far-reaching or genuinely significant these options are, but they're cool and well done at least early in game, so I'll give them a happy thumbs up. Now that really is all the good stuff I can think about the game. We now need to cover the issues, and I'm going to avoid needless hate as much as possible and just give the facts to work with. So the Windows Store, it is as bad as everyone is saying. It doesn't allow modding, it's clearly built for tiny apps, not huge 47GB downloads. It doesn't give you any of the control over your gaming like Steam does, and for the plain fact that Quantum Break requires the Windows Store, I would easily say avoid this game in its current state. The biggest issue is the lack of modding. Generally, when a game comes out broken, like look at Fallout 4, horrendous PC support in so many ways to begin with, and still not great now, yet thanks to modding it was able to overcome the basic issues at launch through hacks from many various parties to allow the majority of the gaming community to game how they wanted, for example at 21:9. But because Windows Store removes any of this ability, you're wholly reliant on the developers, and if they don't want to add a feature in, then you will never get that feature. And that is ridiculous, and the number one reason for a very acceptable backlash to this game. Now usually, if a game doesn't support 21:9 at all, you might want to play the game at 16:9 for whatever reason, you like hurting yourself. Now, when you usually will select a 16:9 resolution in the graphic settings of a game, it will automatically just place black bars on the sides, but not this game. It stretches it for you, which is really nasty, and so to play at 16:9 you have to force your whole desktop to 16:9 through either Windows or Nvidia control panel every single time you play the game. Now I have played a lot of 16:9 games in the past, and occasionally, very occasionally, play moments now at 16:9, but this game is a perfect example of the issue with 16:9. I have never felt so restricted and removed from a world as I do playing this. Your character literally takes up half the screen space. You are so zoomed into his back that you're looking at the world through half a 16:9 screen. You're getting like 8:9 essentially, which is the number one reason I gave up playing after so short a while, because I simply couldn't enjoy my time playing it. This really isn't helped by the horrendous FPS issues in the game. They fluctuate very badly, making aiming very difficult, as anything below 60 FPS is hard to aim accurately at anyway, and any big fluctuations in FPS in any FPS range, be it very high or very low, make aiming very hard again, and this game has both. Now, whilst it isn't locked to 30 FPS, thank God, for the majority of the time, it does seem to drop to 30 in cutscenes, which is very noticeable, and also very strangely, it goes to 30 FPS whenever you shoot the heavy pistol, which there is no way to describe it better than sickening, in the very literal term that it made my head spin to jump from 1 FPS to literally half of it, and then back, and then over and over and over. So I quickly got rid of that gun. I have no idea why it's a thing, but it really is just horrendous. Now, as I said at the start, the devs compared this title to Max Payne 3, and whilst I can somewhat see where they're coming from, I really cannot believe they thought they were anywhere near the quality of Max Payne. While the story is definitely far more intriguing and has more depth than Max Payne's rather basic premise, Max Payne, like any Rockstar game, holds a level of quality this game is beyond far from. It's down to little touches like gun slides on a pistol not moving and bullets just rays of light, whereas Max Payne had every bullet visible in the slow-mo scenes and every gun had every component move. And while some of you might say that you just don't care about such little things, to me I really do notice these touches, and it's a long-standing reason why Rockstar come out with hit after hit in their game releases, because they put those details in. They make the world feel really real. Now, going past small details, the gameplay for Quantum Break is very limited. Fine, you have the basics of gunplay and time control, but there is no manual crouch, there's no diving or lying down and so forth. It generally feels lacking, and this is evident in the options menu where you can see the controller button layout. It's sparse. Wow, this list is long. I'm just going to list the last number of things I had now. There is no quit game option button in the menus, unbelievable oversight, and a clear, obvious port failure from the Xbox version. The graphics settings didn't seem to affect FPS all that greatly, so dropping the settings didn't give me a lot more FPS. Now that could be because I'm at 1440p, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the main reason. There is no stealth in the game, and this is something that could have worked brilliantly, and I wouldn't be surprised when they definitely, because I've no doubt they're probably going to make a second follow-up to this game, that it's something they'll include then, because it really could have done with the stealth element. It really does lend itself to it. And lastly, when you die, checkpoints are frequently put behind long cutscenes, which you have no ability to skip. Now, I think that is everything. So in closing, what do I think? Should you buy it? Right now, my answer is a resounding no. This is a 21:9 channel, and there is no 21:9 option in the game. So for that one reason alone, stay away. Whilst the game has promise and does have great elements about it, I would absolutely say wait until the fixes are rolled out. They will inevitably come soon enough, and really the only thing we don't know is, will we get ultra-wide support? But on that point, be sure to check for an annotation on screen or in the description in case this video has been updated, as I'll release a video looking at the game at 21:9 if a fix is ever released. So I hope that gives you some information on how the game fails to run at 21:9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. For any other games at 21:9, head over to my channel. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, then links to my Patreon page are in the description. See you later.